Alrighty, welcome back everyone. It is LaughNgamez here. I'm back with another Starcraft 2 1 versus 1 bot AI cast. And we have got one that I'm very excited for today, as it's going to be two of the best late game bots taking each other on. It's going to be Ketroc taking on Caninana. These two have had some very epic matches in the past, including like a draw from what I remember right, so they're very evenly matched, and we're just going to see how it goes. Ketroc's bot was a little bit inactive for a bit, but now it's been receiving some updates, and so Caninana, based on the win rates we saw there, does seem to have a bit of an advantage. Assuming I'm reading that the right direction, I assume 0-1 means that it's been played once and lost once. So Caninana may be getting the upper hand in these. Raven Cyclone doesn't appear on that unless it's just listed as Raven. So maybe either way, it's not a big sample size, and we're gonna see if Ketroc's able to potentially get a win here. So ladies and gentlemen, before we get too far into this match, go ahead and click that like button. You guys are the best at it, always blowing that out of the water. If we can hit, I don't know, let's go for 47 likes on this video, that would be amazing. Or 84 for 84 Zerglings, but that would be a bit of a tall order. Yeah, and then leave a comment down below saying more bots, and subscribe if you're not already subscribed. You can click that bell icon to get notified whenever I put up a new video, sometimes linking videos on the new channel or announcing tournaments, which we do every 2 weeks. Let's see here. We've got a hatchery on the way for Caninana, and then command center going on up at the natural base with a factory going up inside the main for Ketroc. So a nice, reasonably safe opening, bunker going up, and Caninana just sending out a few scouting links, so two bots that play it reasonably safe, as Caninana does delay its hatchery in order to get out the quick pool, the quick speed. And yeah, we'll just see which one is gonna get the economic lead earlier on. I do like the speed in which Ketroc's bot expands. It's rather greedy when it comes to expanding. It builds them on location, and then it just sort of throws whatever at the wall and hopes it will stick. And generally it does stick quite a bit. Now let's see, Raven Cyclone being the strategy, we do have one Widow Mine on the way for Ketroc, but a second factory going up. The Teran bot is definitely going to need to start mining some more gas if it will be playing Raven Cyclone, as Ravens do take a lot of gas, 200 gas in all, which is probably one of the most gas intensive units in the game, because what is there? Other than like carriers and Thors and stuff. Yeah, Ravens take a bit of gas. Now, let's see here. Hatchery goes up at the third base for Caninana. We're also on Ephemeron. Caninana sends in a scouting ling. That goes down. There's also a Widow Mine at the front for the Teran bot. Ketroc is notably making 2 Hellions at a time out of 2 factories, which is interesting. We'll see whether it's going to move out with those or just scout around, that kind of thing. But there's a third command center already on location for Ketroc, so keeping pace with this Zerg bot, which is cool to see. Double tech labs on the way, as Caninana invests in a spine crawler, playing it nice and safe. That's what I'm talking about. And we've got a Roach Warren building as well for the Zerg. Now there's the first Cyclone building for Ketroc. Looks like it may be a bit of a Cyclone Hellion mix, as that's definitely how Terrans like to play this matchup. Well, play Cyclone styles, because generally you're short on gas doing that kind of thing, so you have extra minerals to spend on Hellions. Ketroc is now mining more and more gas as time goes on, the first starport going up as well, but then just a tank on the way, so playing it nice and safe, as we do see Caninana just going up into a lair, making some drones, and yeah, we've got a rather passive match so far. Seeing as how there's no Banshees or anything coming out of Ketroc, it's just a very respectful macro match between these two. I would almost like to see Ketroc make battle cruisers if we're lucky it will later on. However, it does seem to be focused on that Raven style based off it just, well, saying it's making Ravens. Now going up to 3 starports, and the third command center is starting to get saturated for Ketroc as the first couple SCVs make their way on over there. All in all, an incredibly passive match between these two so far, which isn't surprising based on their two characteristics, but I mean, give it another minute or so and they'll both be really hitting their economic stride, and soon enough the units will start flowing. Caninana starting to flow out Overseers, apparently, as it does like to use mass Overseers, a very effective use of high APM that these bots have, to be able to just, well, constantly toss out Changelings for one, but then also just keep tabs on pretty much everything the opponent has, because it just likes to move them back and forth, always having eyes on the opponent. Ketroc does have the Planetary Fortress, becoming a third base, making a defensive choice there. We do finally have Cloak on the way for Ketroc, which is interesting. Not a single Raven has been produced, but now it's going into a Banshee, so maybe a mass Banshee play, but then it's making a Raven, so this Teran bot really is just trying to keep me confused. And let's see here, as Caninana has got many, many Overseers crossing the map. Tank shooting away. But there's the Overseers. They just never get in range of anything that can hurt them easily. Except these Cyclones with their long lock-on may be able to change that a little bit. But look at that. Good avoiding behavior from Caninana. They don't even have pneumatized Carapace yet. Once they do, they'll be much quicker. We've got Ketroc saying creep clearing squad added, which I dare you to say that 3 times fast, as it always catches me up. But notably, it is a Banshee and a Raven that like to move around, pick off creep tumors using the vision. The Teran bot is sending out Hellions and Cyclones on the map now, and then getting double armory on the way. But look at that, Caninana already investing in Infestors, so we could really be in for a long, epic game, as these two bots are being quite passive. There is Hellions for Ketroc with blue flame, so drones could be a little vulnerable, but there's roaches coming on in. The Cyclones and Hellions are going to have to get on out of there, but it seems they may actually go down, so a bit of a freebie for Caninana, which is quite nice. The Teran bot has got a couple tanks moving forward, so Ketroc is looking to get a little bit aggressive against its opponent. We also have another Hellion in the third base looking to deny some mining, and that is quite a bit of economic delay, as Caninana simply hides all its roaches in the ground. And yeah, let's see, Ketroc, no fourth base on the way just yet, which I'll say is significant, as Caninana already has got its fourth up, but I imagine it won't be too long for the red Teran bot. The Zerg, though, is investing in Infestors, talking about getting out Swarm Host, which is very cool, as those are always an exciting to see bot unit. 1-1 upgrades on the way for both bots as well, building armor for Ketroc to increase the strength of this planetary, potentially auto turrets with these mass Ravens on the way. And man, oh man, I definitely did miss Ketroc bot, because even in pro matches we don't see mass Ravens anymore. It really is just a Ketroc bot special at this point in the StarCraft 2 meta. Raven does move out to clean out that fourth base. Fortunately, having many Ravens at its disposal will make that easy for Ketroc bot. Looks like Infestors for Caninana are out on the map. I just heard a Widowmine fire somewhere. Where was that? Just randomly out on the map as these two bots start engaging and skirmishing each other. Siege tanks, sieged on up, sieged on down, as Ketroc does have a bit of a presence out on the map. It does need to deal with this Ling. Looks like it will, thanks to that Cyclone. As the Teran bot does continue to push. A cool push of 2 tanks to the north, 2 tanks to the left. Caninana is a bit afraid of the tanks, but not too afraid, as it does get on top, kills off one. Looks like it will also get the second one, so good micro. Now, Ketroc is doing what it does best, though, which is take a boatload of bases. I talked about this before. The Teran bot likes to sort of see what sticks as far as where it can expand to. This one may be getting shut down. However, there's another 4 bases building for Ketroc, which is just ridiculous that it's able to afford so many bases already. Planetary starting to go up at that 4th base as the base count grows for Ketroc. Cyclones still skirmishing against the roaches en masse. Meanwhile, Ravens are out there throwing down auto turrets. We've got neural parasites on Vikings as a way for Caninana to try and counter this, but The Ravens, they will be able to start getting good efficiency as they throw down these auto turrets nonstop. It's already 10 Ravens against 10 Infestors. Caninana's adding more, so these two are really building up into a lot of spellcasters, which is exciting to see. Ravens and Cyclones trying to hold the line against the Roaches of Caninana, which are kind of causing problems. Ketroc bot, though, look at all these planetaries it's getting up now, securing these additional bases. This one denied for now. We'll see if it's able to establish that later on. Caninana is actually looking to build a hatchery there, which makes sense as there's literally no other free bases in this game right now. Roaches are pushing on in quite a ways for the Zerg bot, though, actually killing off a decent number of SCVs, it seems. Meanwhile, Neural Parasites catching the Vikings of Ketroc, definitely the high priority target. And look at that, a beautiful fungal for Caninana, catching a lot of those Ravens. Auto turrets are getting thrown on down. Some of these Infestors are dying. Presently, 3 Infestors have died to no Ravens. However, Ketroc has lost many other units. The Teran bot is actually down quite a bit of supply as it's 120 to 186. Roaches are inflating the supply of Caninana a little bit, but they are getting efficiency as they just constantly go in, skirmish, then retreat. Let's see. Roaches running in and out. Ravens eating fungals once again for Ketroc. That's a little painful, so we may need to see some repair go down on those. Caninana is definitely getting some good efficiency out of them. We do have upgrades rolling across the board, but as far as army supply goes, things are not good for Ketroc. The Teran bot does seem to be in a bit of an SCV death spiral, as it just makes 7 at a time after losing so many at its natural to these Roaches. We've got Ravens hanging out on top of Infestors, able to track them underground, as pro players are able to do as well, but it does not mean that things are going well for Ketroc. The Raven count is presently 11, so it really hasn't shot up that much. Ketroc's just been losing so many SCVs as it has to build more, trying to saturate up this natural base. More SCVs are being produced at these exterior planetaries, which are a safe location, so Ketroc's bot may be able to break itself out of this funk as it also abandons that natural base, which is important. The Ravens are still around, just tossing down auto turrets, trying to get whatever they can, picking off a decent number of these Infestors, but there's another big fungal growth, and there could very well be more behind that. Caninana doesn't take the bait for some reason, though. Well, not the bait, doesn't just cast the line, cast the spell. Are we using fishing metaphors? Anyway, it didn't really work because there really wasn't any bait. That was just a good opportunity missed for Caninana. The Teran bot has kind of broken itself out of this death spiral, though, because it's not losing too many more SCVs. As I say that, though, it does try and transfer some from this base right into the maw of those Roaches. But still, Ketroc is now able to make some more units, producing Vikings, repairing its Ravens, so it's not just spending all its money on SCVs, which means it can go up in supply a little bit, potentially start getting some better trades. Auto turrets are trying to chase down these Infestors. As always, Caninana does actually lose one, and it very well may lose some more as soon as there's energies on these Ravens. They don't take too much energy for an auto turret, but if you're tossing them out constantly, you're not going to have them. And there's the pain of the Ravens of Ketroc just clumping up, but they can eat a fair few fungals, but there's a second one going down, and that is going to knock some of these down into the orange. Double fungal, overkill on the fungal hitting the Ravens, but why not? And there's another one. Ketroc's bot could be in a world of trouble. Those Ravens are now running for their life. They're trying to split. Even a Neural Parasite goes down on one. That one could toss down an auto turret to kill itself, but oh my gosh, another fungal, and all those Ravens die for Ketroc. That is so darn painful for the Teran bot. The Teran bot that's trying to build more SCVs, but it does have so much gas in the bank, so it actually can afford to make quite a few more Ravens. But that was like 7 Ravens that died, a massive chunk of the army of the Teran bot. Meanwhile, the Zerg has secured up this hatchery. It's keeping pressure on Ketroc. Ketroc's SCV production and behavior is pretty good, and that these planetaries are at least keeping some SCVs on them to keep them repaired, but it's been forced off the natural, which definitely hurts. The planetary fortress investment is helping out. We also have got these swarm hosts out for Caninana, so seemingly just Eris and Caninana are bots that are utilizing swarm host. but getting value out of them. And now Ketroc is still trying to handle these infestors. I mean, it's 11 dead infestors to 7 dead ravens, but overall, resources lost is way down for Ketroc, down 10,000 resources compared to its opponent, as Caninana continues to get efficiency. If Ketroc got maxed out, I'd say it would be able to take much superior trades. It's having a hard time with that, though, but it is getting closer as it breaches 150 supply for the first time, I think, probably all game. And Caninana does still have quite a few bases that it needs to clear out. I mean, Ketroc's got bottom left, bottom right. Caninana does have the extra base in the sort of lower 12 o'clock position, but it's actually not mining from it, so that base could very well be a factor if Ketroc can reclaim it later on. We'll see. It also needs to reclaim its natural, though, but I'm not sure if that's going to be easy, as Ketroc is just completely pushed into its main base, being supported by these exterior bases, which are still mining. Extra starports that it attempted to go up are going down. And yeah, let's see. Planetary Fortress still having more SCVs being produced. Ravens flying around, moving on in, tossing down auto turrets again and again. They are getting some efficiency. Cyclones and the high ground definitely helping out Ketroc, although we've got to be very wary of those infestors. There's 13 infestors, which is more than enough to get off some big fungals, so Ketroc may be grouping up its ravens a little bit too much if something like that happens. Once again, tanks inside the main base are getting some nice shots off on the roaches that do move further in. Resources lost-wise, though, Caninana still maintains a massive lead. Neural Parasite going down. Ketroc has to, well, actually saves that Viking, but sometimes does have to kill its own units, it seems. Auto turrets and ravens are pushing out, though. Efficiency does seem to be going up for the Teran bot. There's a fungal, only catches a few of the ravens, hits some friendly roaches. Fortunately, there's no such thing as friendly damage. Another fungal goes down. This one does catch quite a few of those ravens. And let's see, a Medivac is flying on in towards this planetary. Ketroc likes to use a Medivac to make the rounds to actually heal up its SCVs that have taken damage, which is a very cool feature. Ravens seemingly eating more fungals as this goes on, but the red Teran bot has secured up to 20 ravens. It's got 3-3 on the way to help them out. And there is high-sec auto tracking and building armor, which does affect the turrets of the ravens. And yeah, we'll see if the cost efficiency is potentially going to turn in favor of the Teran so that it can maybe push out. Ketroc is looking to re-secure up this natural base. It's not going to be easy, though, as there is still many units lurking for the Zerg. Swarmhost tossing out Locust, constantly fungal growths going on down. Roaches coming on in, and another big fungal catches many of those ravens. Auto turrets getting tossed on down for Ketroc all over the place. Another fungal landing, and yeah, this natural base just in a world of trouble. I'm not sure it's going to get up for Ketroc. Many of those ravens are softened up, which makes me worried because 1 or 2 fungals and it could just be lights out. Ketroc had a gas bank, but it does not anymore. These bases do still have quite a few resources to mine from, though. The red Teran is at 190 supplies, so just about maxed out. And this natural will be resecured, which is going to give Ketroc about an even base count compared to its opponent. So there is potential for the Teran bot. It is blowing tons of money having to repair these ravens from the constant fungals, though, which is problematic. Tanks inching forward can help out. We do have a single corruptor utilizing caustic spray on a planetary, and this can just go on for, well, basically not forever, but it goes on for a long time from what I recall. Does this go on forever? It's been so long since I've been in this situation. I think it does, actually. So this corruptor will just continue burning through Ketroc's money as the caustic spray gets used. So the Teran bot is losing money. Fortunately, it is just one corruptor, but a couple SCVs having to repair non-stop on this. The turret's just out of range to shoot this down. Ketroc is breaking out, slowly pushing back the creep, but eating more fungal growth. Auto turrets are going down, trying to kill off these infestors, though 18 infestors have died for Caninana. The Zerg bot has a 16,000 resource lead, which I think is slightly less than what it was, but if it gets 1 or 2 big fungals off and kills off all these ravens, that will be a completely different story. We do have Ketroc building another command center. Very cool that it does just say, hey, yeah, there's nowhere else to expand to, but build another CC anyway, potentially for mules, potentially to float it on over later on. We do have auto turrets getting thrown down en masse still. Ravens do have a threshold, which they do retreat in order to get repaired to prevent them dying to fungal, but as we saw earlier, that doesn't work. Still, though, it has been generally working, as it is seven dead Ravens, so no more have died. Damage is being done, make no mistake, as this repair is not free for Ketroc. The Zerg bot does still have a vastly superior bank to its opponent, and Ketroc did actually lose this planetary fortress, which is a big blow to the Teran bot. Auto turrets are killing off some roaches here and there. Neural Parasite going down, but oh, that Infestor actually does die, pardon me. Tank's getting more shots off, so Ketroc's trading out as well as it can. Resources lost seems to be slightly improving for the Teran bot. And yeah, we'll just see how that trends. But Caninana, if it can take this base, that will definitely be big. The Zerg is mining from this location as well. Ketroc really needs all these locations. The Planetary is trading out against Hydras, which is good efficiency for the Teran. Infestors still trying to poke on up. Neural Parasites getting tossed on down all over the place. Auto turrets killing friendly units as Ketroc just continues to toss out those spells. I don't believe auto turrets show up on the resources lost tab, which makes sense since they cost no resources. It would be interesting to see how many times that spell has been utilized, though. Caninana continues to get upgrades, though, as it's now getting +3 armor for flyers. Not that it's got a lot of corruptors, but it does still have this one. And this one is a massive money sink for Ketroc, as once this planetary dies, if it dies, we're going to see the resources lost shoot up because it's misleading. So Ketroc is actually way more behind on resources lost than we think, as it doesn't show up on the actual counter until the unit dies. All the money spent repairing it. So this planetary is probably like a 10,000 mineral planetary, all because no Viking is going down there to help out. Caninana isn't moving that corruptor at all, so that is just worst case scenario for Ketroc. This corruptor has gotten more value than if it actually killed the base and all the SCVs at it because of the constant repair. Now Ketroc does need to repair up these Ravens. The Teran bot is short on gas. That repair definitely not helping it out. This refinery is empty. Other refineries will start to run dry relatively soon, and so the Teran bot will need to take more bases. But look at this, Caninana now starting to take this base. The corruptor still continues to cause issues here, as just constant repair has to be used on this base. Ravens are still moving out, trying to trade to improve the efficiency for Ketroc. Another orbital command attempts to, or another command center tries to go down, but it does get blocked by a tank in a poor position, so Ketroc will try again. Nope, tank blocking it again. Auto turrets getting tossed on down. Constantly fungal growth hits all the Ravens again, so even if the infestors die, it seems like they're definitely getting damage done that is going to compound. So even if they die, Caninana seems to be getting some pretty darn good efficiency. There still hasn't been another Raven that's died this game, but eventually Ketroc will run out of money to repair them, as Caninana just keeps the assault going on. The situation hasn't really improved for Ketroc at all. Neural Parasite catching many of the Vikings, as the spellcaster usage is good. This planetary is still eating into Ketroc's money. Like, it would be better just to let this base die, but the gas is still needed, I suppose. It's definitely quite painful for Ketroc. Short on gas, as it just constantly repairs these Ravens, which are going out to toss down their spells non-stop. More fungal growth going down, catching some of these infestors, though. Auto turrets getting tossed on down. Yeah. Let's see, Planetary Fortress doing its thing. Holding the line, providing the money for Ketroc, but eventually they will run dry. And then it's just going to be massively problematic for the Teran bot. It may just begin hunkering down inside its main base. We'll see. But as long as Caninana keeps getting off these money fungals, it's not going to be good for the Teran bot. 37 dead infestors, yet Caninana still has over 8,000 gas in the bank, which is just ridiculous. It goes to show how well it's been trading. Auto turrets getting tossed on down, trying to target down some of these infestors. Maybe Ketroc's bot would be better if it did split up the Ravens a little bit more to prevent this fungal growth damage. The Teran bot does still have many Ravens. I do wonder whether Ketroc's bot would be better off also maybe just trying to bank up a bit more energy on the Ravens, so then it could, when it does move out, it could toss out just way more turrets. but it does just seem to be spamming them down as programmed to do, which is probably the best approach realistically, as like you see an enemy unit, you may as well throw down a turret and hope you get some value out of it. And there is a little bit of value, I'm sure, as these auto turrets go down. Ketroc does need to clear out one of these bases of Caninana, though this Corruptor is still spewing on this planetary. We are going to see how many resources lost for Ketroc on that repair, and soon enough it may not be able to sustain that repair. It does lose a critical refinery, and the Teran bot does need to, say, clean out this base of Caninana and take it, or clean out this location. Vikings are outside. They want to go do something. Maybe the Spore Crawler's preventing them from getting out there. There's also Hydra on the ground. Cyclones locking on Neural Parasites. Auto turrets getting tossed on down. Mass auto turrets going down for Ketroc. There's a whopping 50 Ravens out right now, and I suppose Ketroc, potentially as it loses some SCVs, it has just been building more Ravens. The Teran bot's still just tossing out more and more auto turrets, but really, really running out of resources right now. I'm curious if it will abandon this base once the money is gone, but I'm willing to bet the SCVs will just stay here and keep repairing indefinitely. Fungals constantly going down as this battle just continues on. Ketroc does still have a bit of gas to come on in, but look at this, 26 gas at that refinery, 58 at that one. Things are about to go very, very rapidly downhill for the Teran bot, in part due to this planetary fortress in the bottom left. The Zerg, meanwhile, keeping a steady bank, 8,000 gas, still there. I don't know how many infestors that is. That's what, 40 infestors, something like that? And, I mean, there's already still 13 out, so Ketroc's going to need to start taking some better trades. I think it probably needs to split up its Ravens a little bit more. The Fungals are just getting way, way too much value out. And eventually there's going to be no repair for the Ravens as well. So Caninana taking the trades that it needs, doing everything right, taking the bases out on the map, mining money that belongs to Ketroc, having better efficiency. Ketroc is now out of gas, so repair has ceased on this planetary fortress for the most part, as the Corruptor will eventually kill it. We are going to see the jump up in the resources lost, as I'll pull that tab up for now so we can sort of watch for that. I do think Caninana is probably going to take this epic late game match, though, showing us that it is a late game Zerg bot that has had a lot of work put into it. The infestor usage is second to none. I do think the biggest change that Ketroc would need to do, though, is to potentially just... Oh, it's about to die. Let's wait and see. Yeah, oh, okay, was that only about 4,000? Pardon me. Yeah, okay, so it was only 4,000 resources, but that's still a ridiculous amount of money that was spent on repair. As, yeah, that one Corruptor, another one tried to come in to help, but it failed and ran into the turrets. Yeah, about 4,000 or 5,000 resources lost in repair for Ketroc, which definitely hurts and hurt it throughout this game. So, I mean, 2,500 gas, which might not have been enough to turn this around, but it isn't an insignificant amount, so maybe there could be something done by the bot author to improve that. And then I think just maybe clump the Ravens up a little bit less against Caninana. Ketroc says no gas, so it's just accepting its life. And the Ravens, I think, yeah, they're just giving up on the repair, which makes a lot of sense. They have built up a decent amount of energy, but look at this, fungal growth's getting tossed on down like mad by Caninana. Auto turrets are pretty much deleting everything that gets too far forward as the Ravens throw caution to the wind and start to move forward. I mean, they are deleting everything they drive on by. There's another fungal, though, and that's all it's going to take for Caninana is a few fungals to win this game. Ketroc's retreating to the main base as it does have a little bit of gas. It moves out with some of the Ravens, but they've spent all their energy close to this base, but not going to be able to clean it on out. And Caninana has pretty much won this match. There's 2,000 minerals at this gas because, or 2,000 resources at this gas because the planetary hasn't been able to defend it, so it's died multiple times, which is unfortunate for Ketroc's bot. Another bit of a missed opportunity there. There's 49 Ravens still, many of them in the main base, but there's just no gas once again, as that stops to be mined from. It's going to attempt to retake that location, but even the 2,000 gas would not be enough, I don't think. Ladies and gentlemen, if you've watched this epic match, click that like button as neural parasites go down. We're going to keep watching because there's going to be some big fungals here. And there they go. So many ravens just going to die to the next few fungals. And there's another one that gets tossed on down as Ketroc's bot loses a huge chunk of its raven. All of a sudden down to 16 from 50 just a minute ago. Resources lost shooting up. Yeah, I do wonder, maybe on a different map, fewer bases, more bases, maybe Ketroc's spot would have more success. Maybe there's a world which it gets this base up and it can beat Caninana. So I definitely will cast another match between these two bots in the future. And yeah, just thanks so much to everyone for tuning on in. I do hope you enjoyed this one as much as I did. It is good to have Ketroc's bot back. It really is a spectacle to watch and gets the gears turning when you think about how could you improve this to make it better, make it potentially beat Caninana. There's definitely lots of opportunity. Not that it's easy to pull off when already so much work has been done to both these bots. There's a reason why Caninana is kind of the gold standard for late game Zerg once it gets there. And so yeah, ladies and gentlemen, click that like button if you haven't already, leave a comment down below, and subscribe if you watched all the way to the end as we watch the last of the units die to more fungal command centers spinning frantically. Ketroc saying, creep clearing squad removed. I guess there is still a Banshee flying around. Tumors killed 0, so something went wrong there. I'm not sure where that Banshee was caught, pardon me. But yeah, it was a great game between these two. If you guys do want to support the channel, we're 1 member away from hitting our goal of 10. So consider checking out that membership button down below or the link as well. And yeah, thanks so much to everyone that does support the channel, as it's a slow death for Ketroc now. From 50 ravens to none. Only 52 ravens died this game, so really most of the ravens for Ketroc lived throughout the whole match. Just eventually they ran out of repair. 363 dead SCVs versus 58 dead infestors, 107 dead roaches. Really great trades for Caninana. Catching a lot of those SCVs in transit, I'm sure, definitely helped out. Yeah. Very, very cool, though. Corruptor is spewing on everything. What do we got? A random medivac looking for SCVs to heal, but there is no SCVs to speak of as the last buildings go down. GG.